I haven't prepared, and I'm not so expert at giving class, but I was asked, so I'll try. You have to read this right here. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna himself. Aham Brahmasmi, I'm not this body, I'm pure spirit soul, Jivara Swarupa Hoya Krishna Nitya Das, the eternal servant of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1, the history of the life of Ujjain. So the summary. Text 1, the history of the life of Ujjain. Throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, there are descriptions of 10 subject matters, including creation, subsequent creation, and the planetary systems. Shukadeva Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, has already described creation, subsequent creation, and the planetary systems in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th cantos. Now in this 6th canto, which consists of 19 chapters, he will describe Hoshana, or protection by the Lord. The first chapter relates the history of Ujjain, who was considered a greatly sinful man, but was liberated when 4 order carriers of Vishnu came to rescue him from the hands of the order carriers of Yamaraj. A full description of how he was liberated, having been relieved of the reactions of his sinful life, is given in this chapter. Sinful activities are painful both in this life and in the next. We should know for certain that the cause of all painful life is sinful action. On the path of fruitive work, one certainly commits sinful activities, and therefore, according to the considerations of karma kanda, different types of atonement are recommended. Such methods of atonement, however, do not free one from ignorance, which is the root of sinful life. Consequently, one is prone to commit sinful activities even after atonement, which is therefore very inadequate for purification. On the path of speculative knowledge, one becomes free from sinful life by understanding things as they are. Therefore, the acquirement of speculative knowledge is also considered a method of atonement. While performing fruitive activities, one can become free from the actions of sinful life through austerity, penance, celibacy, control of the mind and senses, truthfulness, and the practice of mystic yoga. By awakening knowledge, one may also neutralize sinful reactions. By awakening knowledge, one may also neutralize sinful reactions. Neither of these methods, however, can free one from the tendency to commit sinful activities. By bhakti yoga, one can completely avoid the tendency for sinful life, as other methods are not very feasible. Therefore, the Vedic literature concludes that devotional service is more important than the methods of karma kanda and jnana kanda. Only the path of devotional service is auspicious for everyone. Fruitive activities and speculative knowledge cannot independently liberate anyone, but devotional service, independent of karma and jnana, is so potent that one who has fixed his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna is guaranteed not to meet the Yamadutas, the order carriers of Yamaraj, even in dreams. To prove the strength of devotional service, Shukadeva Goswami described the history of Ajamil. Ajamil was a resident of Kanyakubja, the modern Kannauj. Is that right? Kannauj? He was trained by his parents to become a perfect Brahmana by studying the Vedas and following the regulative principles. But because of his past, this youthful Brahmana was somehow attracted by a prostitute. And because of her association, he became most fallen and abandoned all regulative principles. Ajamil begot in the womb of the prostitute 10 sons, the last of whom was called Narayan. At the time of Ajamil's death, when the order carriers of Yamaraj came to take him, he loudly called out the name of Narayan in fear because he was attached to his youngest son. Thus, he remembered the original Narayan, Lord Vishnu. Although he did not chant the holy name of Narayan completely offenselessly, it acted nevertheless. As soon as he chanted the holy name of Narayan, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu immediately appeared on the scene. A discussion ensued between the order carriers of Lord Vishnu and those of Yamaraj, and by hearing the discussion, Ajamil was liberated. He could then understand the bad effect of fruitive activities and could also understand how exalted is the process of devotional service. Okay, so text number 1. Shri Parikshit Uvacha Nivritti Marga Katita Ado Bhagavata Yata Brahma Yogo Palapena Ramanaya Asam Shriti Shri Parikshit Uvacha Nivritti Marga Katita Ado Bhagavata Yata Brahma Yogo Palapena Ramanaya Rasam Shriti Shri Parikshit Uvacha Nivritti Marga Katita Ado Bhagavata Yata Krama Yogo Palabdena Ramana Yada Samshiti. Sri Parikshit Vacha Vritti Marga Katita Do Bhagavata Yata Kama Yoga Paladena Ramanaya Samshiti. Sri Parikshit Vacha Ado Bhagavata Yata Nama Yogo Paladena Ramanaya Samshiti. Sri Parikshit Vacha Nivritti Marga Katita Do Bhagavata Yata Kama Yogo Paladena Ramanaya Samchiti. Mataji's Sri Parikshit Vacha Nivritti Marga Katita Ado Bhagavata Yata Kama Yogo Paladena Ramanaya Samshiti. Sri Parikshit Vacha Nivritti Marga Katita Ado Bhagavata Yata Kama Yogo Paladena Ramanaya Samshiti. Word for word meaning. Sri Parikshit Uvacha. Maharaj Parikshit said, Nivritti Marga, the path of liberation, Katita, described, Ado, in the beginning, Bhagavata, by your holiness, Yata, daily, Krama, gradually, Yoga Upalabdena, obtained by the yoga process, Ramana, along with Lord Brahma, after reaching Brahmaloka, Yat, by which way, Asamshriti, cessation of the repetition of birth and death. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Maharaj Parikshit said, O my Lord, O Shukadev Goswami, you have already described in the second canto the path of liberation, Nivritti Marg. By following that path, one is certainly elevated gradually to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka, from which one is promoted to the spiritual world, along with Lord Brahma. Thus one's repetition of birth and death in the material world ceases. Everyone kindly repeat. Maharaj Parikshit said, O my Lord, O Shukadeva Goswami, you have already described in the second canto the path of liberation, Nivritti Marg. By following that path, one is certainly elevated gradually to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka. from which one is promoted to the spiritual world, along with Lord Brahma. Thus one's repetition of birth and death in the material world ceases. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ji. Since Maharaj Parikshit was a Vaishnava, when he heard the description at the end of the 5th canto of the different hellish conditions of life, he was very much concerned with how to liberate the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya and take them back home, back to Godhead. He reminded his spiritual master, Shukadeva Goswami, about the Nivritti mark, or path of liberation, which he had described in the 2nd canto. Maharaj Parikshit, thank you. Maharaj Parikshit, who at the time of death was fortunate to have met Shukadeva Goswami, inquired from Shukadeva Goswami about the path of liberation at that crucial time. Shukadeva Goswami very much appreciated his question and congratulated him by saying, Varyan Esha Te Prashna Krito Loka Hitam Nirpa Atmavit Samata Kumsam Shrotavyadishu Ya Paraha. My dear King, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial for all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists. Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, chapter 1, verse 1. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna states in the 4th chapter, verses 34-35, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So this is the process. You have to approach a bona fide spiritual master, Shrotriyam, and he has to be in the disciplic succession. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshio vidu sakaleniha mahata yogonashta prantapa. Krishna says this supreme science was thus received in the chain of disciplic succession. We belong to the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Sampradaya Vihana Ye Mantraste Nishpala Mataha. There are 4 Vaishnav Sampradayas. Brahma Sampradaya, that's headed by who? Lord Brahma, yeah. And there's the Rudra Sampradaya, that's headed by Rudra, yeah, Lord Rudra. It's Lord Shiva, right? Rudra is Shiva. And there's the Sri Sampradaya, that's, what is that? That's Sri Sampradaya. Lakshmi Devi, Lakshmi Sampradaya. And then there's the Kumara Sampradaya, right? Headed by the 4 Kumaras, right? So, what is the result? You have to test an action by the result. If we're not getting results, then there must be something wrong. we know there's nothing wrong with this process because we understand Srila Prabhupada is a member of one of the four Sampradayas, but there may be something wrong with us in our neophyte stages. We make a lot of mistakes, right? But what is the result? Yajgyat vana punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshani drakshasi atmani atomayi. Lord Krishna says, maybe I'm being too familiar with Krishna, and when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me, and that they are in me and are mine. So we are all part and parcel of Krishna, his servants. Jivera Srupahoya Krishna and Nityadas. We're all eternal, part and parcel servants of Krishna, like our hands, legs, and different parts of the body are part and parcel of the whole body. So Krishna's the whole, spirit soul, Param Brahma, and we're part and parcel servitor of Krishna. So as we advance, we'll understand this more and more. Parikshit Maharaj was astonished that the living entities in the conditional stage do not accept the path of liberation, devotional service, instead of suffering in so many hellish conditions. This is a symptom of a Vaishnava. Vanchakalpa Turviyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha. A Vaishnava is an ocean of mercy, Paraduka Dukhi. He is unhappy because of the unhappiness of others. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, being compassionate toward the conditioned souls suffering in hellish life, suggested that Shukadev Goswami, therefore Parikshit Maharaj, being compassionate toward the conditioned souls suffering in hellish life, suggested that Shukadeva Goswami continue describing the path of liberation, which he had explained in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. The word samsmriti is very important in this connection. Samsmriti refers to continuing on the path of birth and death. Janma Michu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. Those who are trying to make spiritual advancement should always meditate on these fourfold miseries: birth, death, disease, and old age. Miserable conditions, pavarga. And the human form of life is meant to achieve apavarga, the nivritti marg, pure devotional service. Asamsmriti, on the contrary, refers to nivritti marg, or the path of liberation, by which one's birth and death cease, and one gradually progresses to Brahmaloka. Unless one is a pure devotee, one does not care about going to the higher planetary systems, in which case one immediately returns home, back to Godhead, by executing devotional service. Tyakva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti Tyaktva deham punar janma naiti. Parikshit Maharaj therefore was very eager to hear from Shukadeva Goswami about the path of liberation for the conditioned soul. So Vaishnavas are very compassionate. They don't want to go back to Godhead alone. They want to take everyone else back with them. That's a sign of a Vaishnava. He's not envious, you see. Envy means that everyone has a right to engage in bhakti yoga, loving, transcendental, devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna or Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we try to keep that person from understanding and advancing on the path of bhakti, devotional service, pure devotional service. That's envy. So, and devotees are non-envious, and their primary purpose, like King Parikshit, is to try to save their poor fallen god brothers and god sisters from the miserable cycle of birth, death, disease, and old age, like that. Okay, so Parikshit Maharaj therefore was very eager to hear from Shukadeva Goswami about the path of liberation for the conditioned soul. I think that's called Nitya Baddha. Is that right? Conditioned soul is Nitya Baddha, and the liberated soul is Nitya Mukta. Right? So, a liberated soul is eager to help their brothers and sisters go back to home, back to Godhead, because that's the only solution. Right? Nate vidu swarta katimi Vishnu. The ultimate goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. But generally people do not know this, see? But a sincere devotee of the Lord does know this and is eager to help. According to the opinion of the Acharyas, the word krama yogopalabdena indicates that by first performing karma yoga and then jnana yoga and finally coming to the platform of bhakti yoga, one can be liberated. Bhakti yoga, however, is so powerful that it does not depend on karma yoga or jnana yoga. They're called pots of poison. Yeah, they're not necessary. One can go directly to bhakti yoga, like Srila Prabhupada has given us. Bhakti yoga is so powerful that it does not depend on karma yoga or jnana yoga. Bhakti yoga itself is so powerful that even an impious man with no assets in karma yoga or an illiterate with no assets in jnana yoga can undoubtedly be elevated to the spiritual world if he simply adheres to bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga, that's the summum bonum gain of life. The highest gain in life is bhakti. That's the perfection of life. Mam iveshyasi asamshaya. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 7, that by the process of bhakti yoga, one undoubtedly goes back to Godhead, back home, back to the spiritual world. Who has Bhagavad Gita? Could they read that? I don't remember that verse. 8:7. Could someone kindly read that out loud? Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. This instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. I'm sure they also meant women also, because we're all female in relation to Krishna. He's Purusha and we're Prakriti. So the Lord does not say that one should give up his. If you turn, I'm not very. The Lord says the instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. One can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Who was that said, chant, chant, chant? And someone said, can. So it's real simple. Simple for the simple, complicated for the complex. So simple living, high thinking, right? So this will free one from the material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's names, one will be transferred to the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, without a doubt. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says 8.7, that by the process of bhakti yoga, one undoubtedly goes back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world. No doubts. Doubts are like demons, and Krishna is expert at killing the demon of doubts. So we have to get rid of these doubts. You know, a third-class devotee has all kinds of doubts that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's God Almighty. A third-class devotee. Second-class devotee has some doubts that Krishna's God. He has some doubts. A first-class devotee, like Srila Prabhupada and His Holiness Bhakti True Maharaj Ki, no doubts. No doubts. So we have to come to the first-class platform. We want to go back home, back to Godhead. Yogis, however, instead of going directly to the spiritual world, sometimes want to see other planetary systems. And therefore they ascend to the planetary system where Lord Brahma lives, as indicated here by the word Brahmana. At the time of dissolution, Lord Brahma, along with all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka, goes directly. At the time of dissolution, see, the mind is very fickle. I know my mind is very flickering, fickle, and I have to go over it again and again to concentrate on the verse. So I'm not trying to be humble. I'm trying to be a little honest, or a dishonest person, like rogue and rascal like myself. So I'm not just doing it to show off. I'm trying to find it, to understand myself. So yogis, however, instead of going directly to the spiritual world, sometimes want to see other planetary systems, and therefore they ascend to the planetary system where Lord Brahma lives, as indicated here by the word Brahmana. At the time of dissolution, Lord Brahma, along with all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka, goes directly to the spiritual world. This is confirmed in the Vedas as follows. Brahmana saha te sarve samprapte pratisanchare parasyante pritatmanaha pravishanti parampadam. Because of their exalted position, those who are on Brahmaloka at the time of dissolution go directly back home, back to Godhead, along with Lord Brahma. Isn't that a nice gift, nice present? So, verse once again, Maharaj Parikshit said, O my Lord, O Shukadeva Goswami, you have already described in the second canto the path of liberation, Nivritti Marg. By following that path, one is certainly elevated gradually to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka, from which one is promoted to the spiritual world, along with Lord Brahma. Thus, one's repetition of birth and death in the material world ceases. So I'll ask for comments or questions. Anyone can raise their hand or speak. Yes. You can speak loud, because also I have many defects. One is bad hearing. I have to get a hearing aid. Any of you know where I'm not going to be here long, so you can relax. But I just want to find. I tried in Mumbai, and I couldn't find a hearing aid there, and I've tried a number of other places, a hearing aid to help my hearing. So far, I haven't had any luck. If any of you know of a hearing aid place, let me know. I'm sorry. Go ahead. There's two kinds of processes. One is called Pravritti Marg, and the other is called Nivritti Marg. So one is the path of enjoyment, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, like that. We're not following Pravritti Marg. Srila Prabhupada is giving us directly Nivritti Marg, the path of liberation, to stop all the miseries of life. We don't have time, especially we live for a short duration of life in Kali Yuga, so we don't have time to waste. So we're directly given the Maha Mantra. As Prabhupada once said, Srila Prabhupada, always chant Hare Krishna and spread Hare Krishna. So we're not meant only to chant Hare Krishna by ourselves, but we're meant to help our poor fallen God brothers and God sisters on the Nivritti Marg. And that's the path of liberation. Freedom. No more Janma, Mityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshana. No more miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Birth is very painful. Spending 9-10 months within the womb of a mata, very painful, not only for the mother, but it's painful for the child also. And death is painful, usually. For a Vaishnava, usually, for a person's sincere Vaishnava, he won't experience pain. But death, if one is following the Pravritti Marg, one will have to feel pain at the time of death. And we want pleasure, not pain, right? And old age, is painful, because with old age there's so many things that come up with old age. And disease. We get different diseases from the time we're little children, butches. Is that right? Butches? And from the time we grow old, there's diseases. So, pravriti marg nay. That's bad. Bahut kharab. Right? Did I say that right? Bad. No good. And we should understand the difference. You know, for a devotee, he knows the difference. She knows the difference between good and bad. Is that okay? Are you satisfied? So, any other comments and questions? Mataji, how about some comment or question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Speak up.
Thank you very much for a wonderful lecture. My question is that I have heard somewhere if person is following the brahmacharya only, even he is not devotee, he can go to Brahmaloka. Is it true? And if it is true, then how after dissolution, if he is not devotee, he can go to the spiritual world?
Yeah, at the time of annihilation, that is, that when the world comes, there's creation, maintenance, and devastation, or annihilation. So at the time of annihilation, Lord Brahma and all the residents of Brahmaloka automatically go back to home, back to Godhead, because they're in a very exalted position. Lord Brahma, he's such a great soul. There was something about Lord Brahma. Our Brahma, usually Brahmas are not pure devotees, but our Brahma, his name is Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. So who can say he's not a pure devotee? Srila Haridas Thakur. See, but generally the Brahmas are not pure devotees. They have some desire for pravritti marg. But at the time of annihilation, this is different. You know, when everything comes to an end, Lord Brahma and all the residents of his planet go back to home, back to Godhead. Is that all right? Did I answer it or no? Because I couldn't hear most of what you said, to be honest with you.
My question was that if a person is non-devotee, even he is following the brahmacharya, he can go to the Brahmaloka. Is it true? Is it written in scriptures? If a person is following the brahmacharya, is fully brahmacharya and sannyasi, he is not a devotee. Can he go to the Brahmaloka? My question.
I didn't get your question. I want to get it clear. You know, Krishna consciousness means clear.
By following the celibacy, brahmacharya, can one go to Brahmaloka even if he is not a devotee? By following this brahmacharya and then becoming a sannyasi, can he go to Brahmaloka? That is the question.
Well, we're not interested in going to Brahmaloka. We're interested in going to Vaikuntha Loka. That's where the Vaishnava doesn't want to go to any of the other places in the material world. It might be the highest place, but still it's in the material world. A devotee wants to go back home, back to Godhead. That's it. That's for Vaishnava. And we find out all the details in the Srimad Bhagavatam that at the time of annihilation, if Lord Brahma and the devotees, Krishna gives them a concession to go back to Godhead. But we're not shooting to become a Lord Brahma. We want to become Dasanudas, Gopi Bhartar, Parakamalayar, Dasa Anudas, Anudasi. We want to become Anudas, servant of the servant of Krishna, who's maintaining the gopis of Rajabhumi Vrindavan. That's what we want to become. So we don't want to have any obstructions in our mind. This is filled with details at the time of annihilation. We don't want to become a Brahma. right? We don't want to become Lord Shiva. We don't want to become, we don't want to be the most fallen. Someone said to Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen, Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, you're not the most of anything. You're simply insignificant. Okay? So we have to get rid of this false ego, false pride. I'm the most fallen. I'm showing off. I'm trying to show you I'm very humble. But we should not. We should try to be sincere. Very sincere. Okay? Is that all right? Any other questions or comments? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.